good, Commanders fans? Training camp day 8. Just want to give a quick shout out to BetUS. Shout out to them. They are sponsoring today's video and for the rest and the videos for the rest of the NFL season. So shout out to BetUS. Make sure you guys check them out. Last night for the preseason game, they did hit the over, even though the game was basically canceled, or basically canceled after the second half or after the first half. We still cashed on the over 31 points in the Hall of Fame game. So please comment down below if you guys use BetUS and take advantage of the of my link down below in the description. Make sure you guys just comment. Let me know if you guys hit the over on that with me in that game last night. All right, so let's get to practice notes and play-by-play here. So looking at some of the notes here, let me pull up some of the notes. Wale was at practice, so that was cool. Kevin Durant, of course, has not been at practice because he's been in the Olympics. He had a darn good game against South Sudan. He had a really good game against the first team that we played. Who do we play first? I can't even remember who we played first, but we blew them out. And Jason Tatum did not play at all. But getting back to football, let's look at some of the updates here. Dan Quinn, we'll look at some of the notes. Dan Quinn highlighted offensive tackle Brandon Coleman as someone who has stood out yesterday when the Commanders held competitive one-on-one drills. Dan Quinn also highlighted Johnny Newton, Daron Payne, and John Allen. So Brandon Coleman has really looked good so far. He's really stood out, and it kind of sounds like he's the front runner at left tackle. We do have to see how he does in the preseason games. But like I said yesterday, man, if he can be a starter, third-round pick, be a starter at left tackle, and be the solution, the long-term solution at left tackle, that would be a win for the Commanders organization for sure. Let's get to injury updates. Andrew Wiley will be limited again today in practice with tightness per Dan Quinn. Ben Standing puts tightness in air quotes or in quotes in the tweet. Dan Quinn also said they are only looking at Andrew Wiley at tackle. He played guard with the Chiefs. So Andrew Wiley, I know there's been not really speculation, but it's like, what is going on with him? Like Lucas and Trent Scott have gotten a lot of reps at right tackle, and Brandon Coleman's gotten starter reps with right tackle, and then Andrew Wiley was with the field goal unit yesterday. So it's just like a lot of things where he just hasn't been out there. And even when he has been available, he hasn't been out there. So, but he still has this tightness. So it's an interesting situation. I do think day one he still will, he still will be the starter at right tackle. But I do think that right now the front runner for left tackle is Brandon Coleman. But it's just something to keep an eye on with Andrew Wiley. Like I talked about yesterday, he does have a potential out in his contract after this season coming up. So we'll see what happens after the 2024 season. Let's get to Darrick Forrest. Darrick Forrest is out of practice today per Dan Quinn. Injury related was also yesterday. Sounds like the issue could linger a few days, but not a long-term injury per Dan Quinn. It's interesting that Ben Standing put 3. If you look at the tweet on Twitter, Ben Standing accidentally put 3 after the TH in the, and Darrick Forrest has been running with the third team. So I don't know if Ben Standing did that on purpose or it was an accident or a typo, but he didn't edit and fix it. And Darrick Forrest has been running with the 3s, but Darrick Forrest is so talented. Like he's done a lot of things impactful. He's made a lot of impactful plays for the Commanders in the past, and I think he's definitely a starting caliber safety in this league. Like he's definitely proven that. Like he's made plays. He had a really good season. The season with him and Cam Curl, they had that top safety duo tandem, and he played really well. So I want to see him get back out there. I think even though Jeremy Chin and Quan Martin most likely are the starters at safety, I do want to see him play, and I think he can make an impact on this team for sure. And then Dan Quinn said one player who has been really consistent is Sam Cosmi. He said you would have thought he's been a guard for a really long time. And then he also said that Mikey Sammer still has been consistent. Life moves fast inside, and Sammer still has been consistently strong. So good things to hear about Mikey Sammer still here. Let's get to play-by-play. So Nikki Javala said Mitchell Tinsley broke a defender's ankles in one-on-ones. I won't say who. One person commented under that tweet and said it was Mike Davis. So I guess he broke Mike Davis's ankles. Mike Davis came from the Chargers. We'll see if he starts at corner. But Mitchell Tinsley's making plays, man. It's going to be hard for him not to make the roster. I don't think he's going to make the roster. He's not my 6 receivers, but he should be on a practice squad. Like I think he can really make an impact in this league. Like he can be a good 3rd option or a good 4th option or a good 5th option. I think he can make plays in this league. Like he's going to have another good preseason again. I'm excited to see him playing preseason against the Jets, our first game. All right, Zach Selby said some thoughts from wide receiver versus DBs, one-on-ones. Zacchaeus had a really nice catch against Michael Davis. So it sounded like Michael Davis was getting cooked. Mikey Sanders still had a near interception against Jameson Crowder. Ben St. Juice had a pass breakup working against De'Ami Brown. So good play by Ben St. Juice. Mikey Sanders still almost had an interception. So good play by Mikey Sanders still as well. Play-by-play on 11 versus 11. Linnell Willingham says Jayden Daniels to Ertz for a nice game. Jayden has shown great anticipation on these crossing routes. Jayden Daniels and Zach Ertz have had really good chemistry so far. He also said Jayden to Terry for a nice gain on a back shoulder throw. They worked that hard here in camp. Terry has gotten those opportunities. So Terry McLaurin made a one-handed catch along the sideline at an 11 versus 11. Really nice pass again from Jayden Daniels. So we know yesterday had that really nice pass, or Jayden had that really nice touchdown pass to Terry McLaurin where he was smiling at the camera. So I love the chemistry that these guys are getting and the connection that these guys are gaining in training camp for sure. Linnell also says Trent Scott and Brandon Coleman have been the tackle tandem in this period. Luke is working as second team left tackle after missing yesterday with a personal matter. So Brandon Coleman once again getting a lot of reps here. Zach Selby says Jayden Daniels looks really sharp. In that last 11-on-11 drill, only had one incompletion. It was only a near miss. Also had a really impressive bobbling catch by Terry McLaurin near the sideline. And then Tyler Owens is a ball magnet, another interception off of a drop from Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint. So Tyler Owens, he's a guy fighting to make the roster. He's the athletic freak. They got like a 41-inch vertical or something like that. Something insane. Very speedy. Just has to play under control. But this is his second interception in training camp so far. So just being in the right place at the right time. Joe Jr. has said ball is life a lot. And they want to force turnovers like they did in Dallas. Like the defense has jug machines for them, specifically for them in minicamp at OTAs, because they want them to work on their hands. And we've seen in the past a lot of dropped opportunities and a lot of dropped interceptions by the defense in the past seasons. All right, kicker battle update. Ramiz Ahmed went 4 out of 5, and they both missed a 48-ish yard field goal today, both 9 out of 10 after 2 days. So they've been pretty even. Preseason will tell. And then we'll see if we sign another kicker even after the preseason. If somebody gets waived, that may be better than these guys. So we'll see. Phil Mathis and Tyler Biadasz getting into it after the snap. So we got some hectic there, a couple fights and whatnot. So or one, not even a fight. I wouldn't say that, but just getting into it. We haven't really had a training camp brawl yet, like we did with the Ravens last year. A couple fights here and there. We'll see if that happens with the Jets. But we haven't really seen it that much, which is a good thing. I know coaches really don't like that to happen at all. But quick shout out to BetUS here, guys. Make sure you guys sign up and take advantage, guys. You get 125% deposit match on your first 3 deposits with BetUS, up to $2,000. That's a heck of a deal. Use my link down below in the description to take advantage of that 125% sign-on bonus up to $2,000. BetUS, you get live wagering during all NFL games. You get 10% back on your net losses twice a year. So this is a darn good deal, guys. I mean, the pick that I have, unfortunately, the preseason game for us coming up August 10th, I am picking the Jets to win that game only because Tyrod Taylor is the backup, and I don't think Jayden Daniels is going to play a lot in that game. I think Jayden's only going to, if I had to guess, I would assume he would only play like 2 series, but I think Tyrod Taylor is going to play a lot. And Tyrod Taylor cooked us last year with the Giants, so I think that would happen to our second and third team, because you got to think about the second and third team. So I do have the Jets money line. That's my BetUS pick for August 10th. All right, let's get back to play-by-play. Brian Robinson breaks through the middle untouched for a big gain. Coach Tapp is barking at the defensive line to get off blocks because they allowed a big gain by Brian Robinson. And then Bryson Tremaine holding a long throw from Sam Hartman in 7-on-7s, becoming a daily routine. So Bryson Tremaine is another guy that I really want to see in the preseason as well, man. I'm really looking forward to see what he does. Him and Mitchell Tinsley, those guys will be battling for that last spot. If they do keep 7, it would be one of those 2 guys. Last year we kept 7. That's the only way I can see either of those guys making a roster. And Byron Pringle, possibly only because of the kick returner. If you did watch the Hall of Fame game last night, I did see the new kickoff rules. I didn't really pay attention in the offseason, so it was good to finally see it. To me, didn't really change. Nobody really broke through. I mean, it could eventually happen, just like all kick returns. It does make it safer, though. I'll say that. It does make it safer. But kick returns, it didn't really wow me. Like, oh my gosh, this is so cool that they changed the rule. This is really going to make, people turn into Devin Hester and return kicks back and stuff like that. I still think it's still pretty One guy did have a chance, though. He did have a chance to the outside, and he did get tackled, of course. but he had a chance. Like if he was able to bounce to the outside, he could have made it. But it does make it safer. It actually kind of makes it a little bit tougher, in my opinion, to actually return a kick back. But, you know, we'll see how it goes in some of the other preseason games moving forward. And then the drop by Marcus Rosemy-Jackson that turned into an interception. John Keim said the throw was a little off, but I will say that may not help him in the long run. Maybe he makes the practice squad. We'll see. And the injury for Darrick Forrest is a hamstring injury. So they said it shouldn't take long, but hamstring injuries, they can linger and whatnot. I think Curtis Samuel had a hamstring injury. He was out for a long, long time. No, was it a groin or a hamstring? I can't remember, but it was one of the, it might have been a groin, so I'm sorry about that. But, you know, hamstrings, you know, they're nothing to play with. Hamstring injuries are nothing to play with for sure. Shout out to ProTech. He was there today. He just said Austin Jones had a big scat down the sideline with the 2. So I am rooting for Austin Jones and Michael Wiley. I do like those guys a lot. We'll see what happens. Jahan Dotson and Forrest returned punts. Olamide Zacchaeus and Tinsley look good today per ProTech. Like I said, Mitchell Tinsley has he's had a really good camp as well. And then Tyler Owens picked off Marcus Mariota. A big pick for me. The reason why I'm taking the Jets in the preseason games is because Marcus Mariota may be playing a lot. And I think he's just going to be really bad in the preseason games. Not really bad, but just not good. Just not good. I'll say that. So good information from shout out to ProTech. Make sure you guys subscribe to his channel. He said the interception was thrown by Marcus Mariota that Tyler Owens caught from a drop pass or from Marcus Rosemy-Jackson, but the throw was off per John Keim. So, all right, yeah, and I think that's really about it for today. Jayden Daniels was 5 for 8, no touchdowns, no picks, a lot of run game and special team work today per Mason Kinahan. Shout out to Mason Kinahan. I was on his podcast last year. Shout out to him. He's a good guy, and his podcast is called Keeping Up with the Commanders. So make sure you guys check him out for sure. But a lot of run game, and then Jayden Daniels did do like a read option up the middle per Mason Kinahan as well. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. Health Commanders. Peace.